You ever look back at your teenage self and just think, yeah, I was kind of a problem back then? Because this story starts exactly like that. I was a senior in high school, and I wasn't a bad kid. Not really. But when it came to my family, yeah, I was a total punk. Always acting too cool, always distant, always like I had better things to do. I had a younger brother, Jake. He was 10 at the time, 8 years younger than me, and honestly, that gap felt even bigger back then. We might as well have been from different worlds. My parents loved family trips. Every year we'd go somewhere near the ocean since we lived just a few hours from the coast. And this time, they picked somewhere different. Maine, and as an 18-year-old. I thought it was the worst idea ever. Quiet place. Deep woods, old houses, nothing to do, no friends, no signal. I already hated it before we even arrived. But when we pulled up to the house, that's when things felt off. The place looked like something straight out of a horror movie. Huge white house, green shutters, surrounded by thick trees that made it feel isolated, like it didn't belong anywhere normal. Even my dad joked, this is how horror movies start, right? Yeah, not exactly comforting when you're standing in front of it. But my little brother, he loved it. He was excited. Me, I just wanted to leave already. Then we went inside, and that's when I noticed something weird. The house wasn't just big, it was confusing, like a maze. Hallways connecting in strange ways, rooms placed in odd spots. Nothing felt normal or planned. It honestly felt like someone built it for a movie set instead of real life. But the weirdest part wasn't even that. It was the fact that this house wasn't alone. It was connected to another smaller house, like literally attached. And that's where the owner lived. A guy named Hugh. So now we're in this house in the middle of nowhere, already feeling like something's a little off, and then we meet him. Hugh, the guy who owns the place. And honestly, first impression, weird, but not in an obvious danger way. More like unsettling in a way you can't fully explain. He was tall, kind of lanky, wearing this old sweat-stained bucket hat that looked like it had seen better decades. His teeth were yellowed, his energy was loud, overly friendly, almost forced in a way. Like he was trying too hard to make everything feel normal. He keeps talking about how kind people from Maine are, like he's repeating it on purpose. Your parents are being polite, nodding along, smiling awkwardly. But then he drops something that sticks in your head. If you need anything, I'm right next door. But you probably won't see me much this week. Right next door. That phrase hits different when you realize next door is literally connected to your house by a hallway and a door. No separation, no real privacy. Just a shared wall and access. At first, nobody says anything. But you can feel it, everyone's kind of unsure about this setup. Still, there's nothing to do now. You're already here. So you try to ignore it. Your parents try to make the best of it, but you're already done with the trip mentally. You don't want to be there. You don't want to explore. You don't want family time. You just want out. And that attitude, it starts showing immediately. While your family is trying to settle in, you're already complaining, already looking for excuses to leave, already acting like the entire trip is a punishment. And then the next morning comes, and that's where things start shifting. Because your parents decide everyone's going on a hike. A big one. Family bonding, fresh air, all that stuff you absolutely don't want to be part of. But instead of going, you make a decision that seems small at the time. You stay behind. And that choice, that's where everything starts to quietly spiral. So your family heads out early that morning for this big hike. Your parents, your little brother Jake, all of them excited, getting ready like it's some perfect family moment. And you stay behind. At first, it feels like a win. Quiet house, no pressure, no forced bonding. You've got the place to yourself, and honestly, that's all you wanted anyway. But there's another reason you stayed. A girl. Right before this trip, you had just started talking to your high school girlfriend, Danny, and you didn't want to lose connection with her just because your parents dragged you into the middle of nowhere. And here's the problem with Maine. No signal out on the trails. So if you went on that hike, you were basically disappearing for hours. No way that was happening. So your family leaves, and suddenly, you're alone in this massive, quiet house in the middle of the woods. At first, you just relax. Sit around, text Danny, send her pictures of the house, especially the weird layout. You're even kind of joking about it now. Like, this place is actually kind of creepy. Then you tell her something she doesn't believe. The house is connected to another house. She thinks you're exaggerating, so now you feel like you have to prove it. And that's where things shift again. You walk down one of the long hallways, phone in hand, recording a video, showing her how the house is built like a maze. At the end of the hallway, there it is. A door. The one that leads directly into Hugh's house. You assume it's locked. It's not, and that should have been the moment you stop, but you don't. You open it and step inside. So you're standing there in Hugh's side of the house, just like that. You crossed over. And at first, it doesn't even feel that dramatic. It's just another room. A small living space, a couch, a television. Nothing wild. Nothing scary. In fact, it almost feels boring. That's what makes it worse. Because your brain starts telling you, see, you overreacted. It's fine. And you're still on FaceTime with Danny trying to prove you weren't lying. You're showing her everything like, look, I told you it connects. It's literally just another room. But then, you hear it. A door closing somewhere deeper inside the house. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a simple click, but in that moment your entire body reacts instantly, because now it hits you. You are not alone in here, panic kicks in fast. Like instant switch, you don't walk. You basically bolt back toward your side of the house. Heart racing, breathing sharp, adrenaline fully up. You don't even think, you just get out. And you make it back into your room, slamming that connecting door behind you like your life depends on it. For a second, everything is quiet again, but now your head is running 1,000,000 miles an hour. Did someone hear you? Was he home the whole time? What was that door? Then a few minutes pass, and you try to calm down. That's when it happens. A knock at your door, and you already know who it is, Hugh. But this time, something feels different, because he's not just casually knocking. He wants answers. You open the door, and there's Hugh, still standing there like nothing happened, still wearing that same weird calm expression like he's just checking in on a neighbor, not confronting someone who was literally just inside his house. But this time his tone is different, less friendly, more direct. He asks you straight up, why were you recording inside his house? No build-up, no small talk. And in that moment your stomach drops, because you realize there's no easy way out of this one. You try to play it off at first. You say something like you got confused, maybe walked the wrong way, didn't realize what you were doing. But even as you're saying it, you know it sounds fake. And Hugh knows it too. He doesn't yell. He doesn't get aggressive. That almost makes it worse. Instead, he calmly tells you something that completely shifts the energy. He has cameras inside his house, and he saw everything. Now the situation goes from awkward to uncomfortable, real fast. There's no more pretending, no more excuses. So you just stop and tell him the truth. You were showing your girlfriend. You didn't mean anything by it. And then something weird happens. Like it's no big deal, like this is all just some harmless misunderstanding. And then he says something casually that sticks with you. Nobody in Maine locks their doors. That line hits different, because where you're from, that's not normal. You lock doors, you double-check them. You don't just leave access open to strangers attached to your house. But here, apparently that's just how things are. Still, you don't feel better, you feel worse. The second he walks away, you lock that door immediately, and not just lock it. You make sure it stays locked. But even that doesn't feel like enough anymore. After Hugh leaves, the silence in the house feels different. Not peaceful. Just heavy. Like the place is watching you now. You don't waste a second. You lock that connecting door, check it twice, and then check it again. But even then, it doesn't feel secure. So you get creative. You drag a heavy wooden chair over and wedge it under the handle like a makeshift barricade. It's not professional. It's not smart. But it makes you feel a little safer. A few minutes later, your family comes back from the hike. And the moment you tell them what happened, the reaction isn't what you expect. Instead of being concerned about Hugh or the cameras, they're mad at you, mad that you went into his house. And yeah, technically they're right. But in your head, that's not even the main issue anymore. So you argue back. The tension builds fast, everyone's frustrated. Then your parents decide they're going out for dinner. You refuse. Again, at this point, they're too tired to argue, so they leave you behind and say they'll bring you food later. And just like that, you're alone again. But this time, it feels different. The sun goes down, and the house turns pitch black. No streetlights, no noise. Just forest and silence. Hours pass. You're sitting on the couch, texting Danny, trying to distract yourself. Then, a loud crash. It comes from the hallway, from the direction of that door. Your mind immediately jumps to the chair you used as a barricade. You think it got knocked over, and then another thought hits you harder. What if Hugh is trying to get in? You move slowly toward the hallway, trying to see in the dark. You flip on the light, and there it is. The chair is on the ground, knocked over, and next to it, a backpack. Not yours. That's when everything in your body just locks up. You don't think, you run, straight to the screened-in porch. Lock the doors behind you, hide under a table like your brain is just trying to survive on instinct. And then you hear it. Footsteps inside the house. Slow, normal calm, not running, not searching, just walking. At that point, you don't even know what's real anymore. Minutes pass, maybe more. Then headlights appear. Your dad's van pulls in. You sprint outside immediately, yelling at them not to go inside. They're confused. You're not making sense. Everything is chaos. And then Hugh shows up, but he's not smiling anymore. Not goofy, not friendly, just serious. He talks privately with your dad, and whatever he says changes everything instantly, because your dad gets in the car and tells everyone, "We need to leave now." No explanation, no questions answered, just urgency. And as you pull away from the house, you see police cars heading toward it. Later, you learn the truth. Hugh checked his security cameras after hearing the noise. He thought you were messing around again, but instead he saw something else. A tall, bald man coming out of your room, someone who wasn't you, someone who wasn't your dad. That man took something from your room and disappeared. And even with cameras everywhere, they never figured out how he got in, or why, or where he went. To this day, he was never caught. And the worst part, sometimes the scariest thing isn't the house. It's the fact that someone was already inside it before you even realized it. Every year, my family had this tradition, this big vacation we all looked forward to. We'd all go down to West Palm Beach, stay at my aunt and uncle's place right on the ocean, and just live that classic Florida beach life. Sunday sand, food, family everywhere. And honestly, it was always fun, but not for the reasons you'd expect. Because the real highlight of these trips wasn't just the beach, it was the people. My cousin Will and my best friend Teresa were always there. Same age as me, same energy, and over the years, people even started thinking we were siblings or twins. We leaned into it too, messing with strangers, playing it up, just having fun with it. As we got older, though, these trips changed. We weren't just hanging out on the beach anymore. We were going out at night. Bars, clubs, music, drinks, that whole scene. And Will, he was the wild card. Local guy, knew every spot in town, always pushing things a little too far. But there was one night, one specific night, where everything went from fun vacation energy to something completely different. Something I still can't fully explain. So that night starts like any other on these trips. We're at a bar in West Palm Beach. Loud music, packed crowd, everybody laughing, just living in the moment. And Will, he's already in his element. But there's a problem brewing that we all see coming before it actually happens. Will's drinking too much. Or maybe it's just catching up with him faster than usual, but either way, his energy starts shifting. At first, he's just louder, more confident. Then it turns into reckless. He starts running his mouth inside the bar, not joking anymore, actually pushing people's buttons, acting like just because he's local, nothing can touch him. But that's not how bars work. Tension starts building around us. You can feel other people getting irritated. Looks start changing. Conversations around us go quiet, and then it happens. Security steps in, and Will gets physically kicked out of the bar. Not gently, not politely, straight up removed. And when he hits the outside, it's like reality finally catches up to him. He's still talking, still laughing, but it's messy now. Sloppy. His ego took the hit more than anything else. That's when I step in. I tell Teresa to keep an eye on him while I try to sort out an Uber or some kind of ride home. Because at that point, we all know the night is basically over, but Will, he doesn't know when to stop, and that's where things start slipping out of control. So I'm trying to get us a ride home, right? Meanwhile, Teresa is watching Will, or at least she was supposed to be, because within minutes everything changes. Will starts drifting off. Literally just walking away from us like nothing's happening. At first we think he's just being dramatic, maybe trying to cool off. But then Teresa turns around for like a second, checks her phone, and when she looks back, he's gone. Now we're both scanning the street, calling his name, trying to stay calm, but you can feel that panic creeping in. Because this isn't just lost friend energy anymore. This is drunk, disoriented, middle of a random night in a strange city energy. His phone goes straight to voicemail every time we call him. Classic Will behavior, but not helpful at all right now. We start walking up and down the streets near the bars, shouting his name, getting more and more frustrated. And then Teresa suddenly yells. She sees him, down the street walking. But not normally. It's a crooked, unstable kind of walk. Like his body is trying to go one direction and his brain is somewhere else entirely. And the direction he's heading, away from the bars, toward this dark, overgrown area at the edge of town, trees, brush, swamp-like terrain, the kind of place you don't casually wander into at night. We immediately go after him. No thinking, just reaction. Because at this point, it's not about being annoyed anymore. It's about making sure he doesn't do something stupid. But none of us realize yet. We're about to follow him into something way worse than a bad drunk decision. We catch up to Will pretty fast. He's not running, not really even walking straight, just stumbling deeper into this dark, muddy, overgrown area like he has no idea where he is anymore. The farther we go in, the worse it gets. The light from the street fades behind us, and suddenly it's just trees, brush, and thick mud under our feet. Every step feels heavier, slower. Like the place itself doesn't want us there. Teresa is furious at him at first, like full-on yelling, grabbing his arm, telling him how stupid this is, and Will, he's laughing, acting like a kid. No awareness at all. Then, out of nowhere, he goes completely quiet. No joke. No laughter. Nothing. He puts a finger up and tells us to be quiet. We both look at him like he's insane. Like, you've got to be kidding me right now. But then we hear it too, shouting. Far away at first. Then louder, screaming. Not normal yelling. Not drunk people messing around. This is something else. Something sharp, panicked, and honestly disturbing. It echoes through the swampy woods in a way that makes it impossible to tell where it's coming from. We all freeze. Even Will, and for the first time all night, he looks completely sober. Whatever confidence or drunk energy he had, gone now. It's just fear. We don't move. We just stand there in that mud, listening. The screaming keeps going for a bit, then suddenly stops. Just like that, silence. And that silence is somehow worse than the noise. We stay hidden for a while, not speaking, not moving, just trying to understand what we just heard. But nothing explains it. So eventually we make the decision to leave. Fast. We don't run at first. We sprint the moment we agree. Straight out of the swamp, back toward the noise of the city, the lights, anything normal again. Because whatever that was, none of us want to find out more. We don't stop running until we hit pavement again. The second we get back to the lit-up streets near the bars, it feels like we've escaped something we don't even fully understand yet. Cars, music, people laughing, it all feels normal again, but in a weird way. Almost too normal. Like nothing just happened. But we all know something did. We get a ride back to the house, and nobody's really talking in the car. It's that quiet where everyone's trying to act like they're fine, but you can feel the tension sitting heavy between us. Once we get back, reality starts creeping in again. We're sobering up fast, and now we're trying to make sense of what we heard. The screaming, the swamp, the footprints, the jacket sleeve we saw later when we went back in daylight. Because yes, we actually went back the next morning, and that's when it got even more unsettling. In the daylight, the whole area looks different, but not in a good way. More exposed. More real, like it's harder to ignore what happened there the night before. We find the exact spot we were standing. Our footprints are still in the mud, still there, like a record of exactly where we froze. And then we start following the direction we all remember the screams coming from. Not perfectly, not confidently, but enough to get a general sense. Teresa leads the way, moving through thick brush like she actually knows what she's doing. We're pushing through mud, branches, all of it feeling way less safe in daylight than it did in our heads at night. And then we see it. A sleeve. Just a torn piece of a denim jacket hanging on a branch. Below it, disturbed mud. Multiple footprints. Like something happened right there. A struggle, maybe, something fast and chaotic. A few steps deeper in, there's more. The rest of the jacket is on the ground now, completely separated, dirty, out of place. And the footprints continue. But only one set eventually breaks away, leading deeper into the brush until we can't follow anymore. That's where everything stops. No answers, no explanation. Just evidence that something happened there, and whatever it was, it didn't stay in one place long. We all look at each other, and nobody really wants to say it out loud. But the feeling is the same for all of us. We saw something we weren't supposed to see. Eventually, we leave. And on the drive back, the silence hits harder than the screams did. Because now there's no noise to distract us from the question we all keep thinking but don't want to ask. What was that? Even now, years later, I still don't have a real answer. Just fragments, just that sound. And the feeling that whatever was in that swamp wasn't just an accident. This story happened last summer, and honestly, it was supposed to be a perfect trip. My girlfriend and I finally got the chance to travel alone together for the first time. No family, no distractions. Just the two of us. We were excited about it in that way couples get when something feels like a milestone moment. Like, this is the next step in the relationship. We'd done family vacations before, sure, but that's not the same thing. This was different. This was us, for privacy. I'll call her Vanessa. And one thing about Vanessa, she always used to tell me I'm way too friendly for my own good, like I trust people too fast, talk too easily. Treat strangers like friends right away at the time. I never thought that was a problem, but looking back, that habit almost got us into something seriously wrong. It all started on the drive down to Ocean City, Maryland. So we're driving down to Ocean City, Maryland, classic beach town vibe, hotels, condos, ocean right there. Everything packed into one strip of coastline. I used to go there as a kid with my family, so coming back as an adult with Vanessa felt different, more exciting, more personal. About 20 minutes before we reach our condo, I stop at a gas station to fill up the tank and grab a couple drinks. And that's where things shift inside the store. I bump into this guy. He turns around immediately, super apologetic, like I've just ruined his entire day by accident. I'm quick to tell him it's nothing, probably my fault anyway. And just like that, we start talking. His name is Henry. Good-looking guy, confident, but not in an annoying way. Clean vibe, button-up shirt, pink and black, mostly unbuttoned. Friendly eye contact, easy to talk to. We're just chatting in line like it's nothing serious. Then he says something interesting. He and his girlfriend are also heading to Ocean City. That immediately changes the energy. Now it feels like a coincidence, like a small world moment. I tell him where we're staying, and he lights up, says he thinks he knows the area, might even be staying nearby. That's all it takes for me. I'm already that type of person who gets excited about meeting new people. I like connections. I trust vibes too easily. So when he asks for my number, I give it to him instantly. We do the classic bro hug, exchange contacts, and go our separate ways. When I get back in the car, Vanessa already knows something happened just by my face. And when I tell her, she just rolls her eyes. She's not impressed, but I don't think much of it, not yet. We get to the condo that afternoon, and the vibe is exactly what you'd expect. Ocean view, balcony, everything calm and perfect. We're on the 5th floor, looking straight out at the water. That classic Ocean City setup. Waves, breeze, tourists everywhere down below. That first night is peaceful. Just me and Vanessa sitting on the balcony talking, enjoying the view. Nothing weird, nothing off. At that point, Henry is just a random guy I met at a gas station, or at least, that's what I thought. Next morning, we head down to the beach early. We're both early risers, so it's no big deal. We set up our chairs around 7 a.m., coffee in hand, just relaxing. And then, I hear my name, someone is calling me from behind. I turn around, and there's Henry, waving like we've known each other forever. But he's not alone. Behind him is a woman, and right away, something feels off. Henry looks normal. Same energy as before. But the woman with him, completely different vibe. Pale skin, oversized sunglasses covering most of her face, big sun hat, long sleeves, leggings, like she's actively trying to avoid the beach she's standing on. Even her expression looks tired, uninterested. Like she doesn't want to be there at all. Henry introduces her as Sarah. She gives a small wave, barely a smile, and that's it. No warmth, no energy, just existing. Still, Henry asks if they can join us, and me being me. I say yes, because in my head it's just friendly vacation behavior. More the merrier. They sit with us, but it's immediately weird. Henry drops into the sand like he owns the place, but Sarah just stands there until I offer her my chair. She hesitates, then sits. That alone should have told me something was off. Then Henry mentions something casually. They're staying in the building right next to ours, and that's when I notice Vanessa's expression change. That's her first real red flag, but for me, I still don't see it. Not yet. We hang out for a bit longer on the beach, but the energy is definitely not normal anymore. Henry keeps talking like everything is great, laughing, asking questions, acting like we're all instantly friends. But Sarah just sits there, barely reacting to anything. No conversation, no curiosity, nothing. It starts feeling less like a random beach meetup and more like we're entertaining guests we didn't fully invite. After about an hour or so, Vanessa is clearly done with it. I can feel it. So I make an excuse, we're going back to the room to relax for a bit, then maybe dinner later. Henry immediately jumps on it, trying to lock in plans for later, but I keep it vague. We'll text you. That's my way of slowing things down. When we get back to the condo, Vanessa finally lets it all out, and she doesn't hold back. She says Henry feels fake, like he's putting on an act, too smooth, too friendly, like something doesn't match up. And Sarah, even worse. She says she's one of the rudest people she's ever met, complaining about the sun, acting miserable on a beach vacation, showing zero interest in anything. Then she hits me with something I didn't even think about. Why would someone come to a beach town? Hate the beach, not bring a chair, towel, umbrella? Nothing. That actually sits with me for a second, because yeah, it doesn't make sense. And for the first time, I tell her I won't reach out to Henry again, but that night, things get even stranger. That night, everything feels normal again, at least on the surface. Vanessa is already asleep. and I'm out on the balcony just thinking, smoking a cigar even though I probably shouldn't be. Ocean City at night is calm, waves rolling in, lights from other condos glowing, people moving around far below. And then I notice something, down on the beach. I think I see Sarah. Same outfit, same big hat, same slow, awkward movement, but I'm not completely sure because it's dark and she's far away. Still, it's enough to make me pause. I go back inside, trying to shake it off. Vanessa is asleep. Everything is quiet. I check the door before bed. That's when I hear it. Voices, right outside. Not loud, not clear, just muffled talking, like someone is close to our door. At first, I think it's just other condos nearby, people passing in the hallway. But then I notice something that changes everything. The sound feels too close. Right outside our unit. I step toward the door slowly, and before I even touch the handle, it moves. Like someone just tried to open it. From the other side. No hesitation this time. I don't panic, I don't yell, I just speak up calmly through the door and say they've got the wrong room. A few seconds later, footsteps running away. And just like that, silence again. I tell myself it's a mistake. Wrong door. Drunk tourists, something harmless. And I actually believe it. Enough to go to sleep. But the next day proves it wasn't over, because Henry and Sarah show up again. Same clothes, same exact look, like nothing changed. Like nothing happened. But this time, everything feels different. The vibe is off. Vanessa is completely over it now. I can tell she's done pretending this is just weird coincidence energy. We cut the beach day short, and before we leave, I notice something else. Sarah is standing alone near the edge of the building, staring at the ocean. No Henry. Just her, and then I watch Henry appear from inside our building. From somewhere he shouldn't have been coming from. They argue, not loudly, but enough to tell something isn't right between them. Then he storms off. She follows. And that's when I finally start feeling it too. Something about these two isn't normal. Later that night, my phone starts ringing nonstop. Henry. I don't answer. Then comes the text. Don't go to your room yet. That's when everything slows down, because now it's not just weird anymore. It feels intentional. We go back anyway, and the second we reach the door, it's slightly open. I know for a fact I closed it. Vanessa freezes in the hallway. I go inside alone, and what I see confirms everything. Our bags are ripped through. Stuff is missing. Shoes gone. A bathing suit gone. A photo of us gone. And suddenly it's clear. This was never random. This was never just meeting new people. We call the police. And by the time they start checking everything, Henry and Sarah don't exist in any official record at that building. No real names, no real room, nothing. Just ghosts in plain sight. And even the phone number, disconnected. By the time it's over, the only explanation left is the one nobody wants to say out loud. We didn't meet friendly strangers on vacation. We were targeted.